With no shortage of uncomfortable interactions on the show, we're bringing yet another round of cringe your way. Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for another top 10 most awkward moments from 90 Day Fiancé.
I'm going to get my wallet.
Bring me my red bag with my makeup.
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at moments from this controversial TV show and its spin-offs that made us squirm in our seats. If you don't see a moment you think earned a place on this list, be sure to check out our first video of the top 10 most awkward moments from 90 Day Fiancé.
So, for a prenup to be legal, there's a stipulation that you need independent legal counsel.
Number 10, Darcy gets drunk.
Come on.
You're not my boss. You can't tell me what to do.
We get that having 90 days to decide you love someone is stressful, but there are better ways to deal with that than knocking back a bottle of wine. During what's supposed to be a romantic evening at home, Jesse tries to start a conversation, but instead, Darcy offers him a high five.
That's my boy.
Yes, all right.
While Jesse confusingly obliges, he begins to realize that Darcy may have already drank her dinner.
Did you have a glass of wine?
Yeah, absolutely. What's wrong with that?
What follows is an awkward and passive-aggressive dinner that ends with Jesse accusing Darcy of wanting to create drama. We're guessing they didn't have dessert.
If you want to make a problem, we can make a problem. You know, we can create some drama right now. I know you like that, so.
Number 9, Loren calls out fraud couples.
For me, it's embarrassing being associated with them.
Everyone who watches the show has their own opinion on each of the couples, but have you ever wondered what they think of each other? In a Couple Tell-All special, Loren wasn't shy about letting her fellow cast members know just how disgusted she was with them.
It's not just you. I said George and Anfisa too, and I told them to their face.
Going off on both Mohammed and Danielle and Anfisa and George, Loren accused them of being frauds and making the K1 visa process look bad to viewers, kickstarting a yelling match with Mohammed that escalated into everyone effectively losing it at each other. This group of adults dissolved into a meltdown faster than audiences could blink. But what else can you expect from a show notorious for its drama?
It doesn't matter what you see.
Everybody else sees it, Mohammed. You are a fraud.
It doesn't matter.
So enough.
Number 8, Pedro meets Chantal's friends. The prospect of your loved ones marrying someone from another country is a tough one to swallow for many people, and some are not shy to voice it. Sitting down to meet Chantal's friends for the first time, Pedro had to deal with both a significant language barrier and the fact that the girls were not exactly thrilled to meet him.
So it was your first time flying in a plane?
En aeroport. 10.
The meeting quickly turned into an interrogation, as Pedro was pelted with questions about his intentions and the rushed pace of the relationship.
You know, it seems so rushed.
When Chantal's friends turned against each other, it pretty much spelled the end of this friendly get-together.
You kind of weren't supportive of him being here, so it's kind of awkward that you're here.
Number 7, Nikki's new car.
Thank you so much, but I need to learn how to drive.
Well, no, you can drive me home.
Mark's inability to avoid bringing up his ex-wife is a recurring issue for he and Nikki, and this instance was no exception. After gifting his young bride to be with a new car in order to ease her homesickness, Mark doesn't waste time in shattering the moment. Nikki barely has time to crack a smile before Mark tells her the car is the same make and model he bought his ex-wife.
I had bought the same car for my ex-wife.
The happy moment screeches to a halt as he proceeds to talk all about what his ex thought of the car, how she drove it, and her following pregnancy, all as we watch Nikki's smile disappear into thin air. Geez, Mark, can you not?
And then, of course, she got pregnant.
Number 6, Paul's mistranslation.
Pode, Karine, Estada, Esteja, Hotel, con me.
The language barrier is tough in any situation, but when you're meeting your fiancé's parents for the first time, it might not be the best idea to rely on Google Translate. In a mistake that almost had disastrous consequences, Paul mistakenly asks Karine's parents for permission to take her to a hotel for the night.
Aqui no Brasil, motel só é para encontro sexual.
They're not pleased with the thinly veiled innuendo, and the couple has to do some quick translating in order to avoid further embarrassment. Watching Paul try to awkwardly laugh off his mistake was tough enough to watch, but the deadpan looks on Karine's parents' faces were the cherry on top. Whoops. Number 5, Nikki and Mark's intimacy.
Because we're not married, you know, if you want to make this your room, you're more than welcome to.
The age gap was cringy enough, but did they really need to remind us of what goes on behind closed doors? After Mark offered Nikki her own bed, due to the fact that they weren't married yet, she made it clear that she wanted to sleep with him in his bed. Cringe number 1.
I don't want to stay in a different room with Mark. I'm not comfortable being far away from him, sleeping far away from Mark.
But what really made the scene gag-worthy? Nikki's dreamy description of she and Mark's intimacy, beautiful and always perfect, was a little too much information and cranked up the creep factor by about 1,000. We understand that this is a reality show, but they don't have to share everything. Number 4. Underwear in the closet.
Fernando cheated before. I don't know he's doing. I am in Colombia.
Okay, so Carolina finding pink underwear in Fernando's closet was bad enough. But watching him try to stutter his way through a million bad excuses, that was even worse. The look of panic on his eyes as he fumbled through an explanation was almost enough to make audiences feel bad for him. Almost.
That's nothing from recent. That's old. I'm serious.
You'd think that if you're bringing your fiancé from overseas and planning a marriage, that perhaps you do a little house cleaning beforehand. But luckily for audiences, that didn't seem to occur to Fernando, and we all got to watch this painfully awkward interaction instead.
It happened so many years ago that I can't even remember who they're from or what they are.
Number 3. Paul wears a condom to go swimming.
I had this little penis, I guess like a sheath protection bag. I put a condom on, have that to hold that on. Definitely don't want nothing swimming up my penis.
Weird might be an understatement, proving once again he was more than a little unprepared for the trip to the Amazon. Paul wasn't exactly thrilled to go swimming with Karini in one of the untreated rivers.
You swim in there?
Yeah.
Heeding the advice of his travel doctor, he proceeds to don a few protective layers, including a condom, a sheath, and what looks like a pair of overalls before waddling over to the water's edge. With Paul bobbing around in his life jacket and sputtering in the water, we're not sure who was more embarrassed, Karini or the audience watching at home.
Poop water.
Number 2. Chantal argues with Pedro's family. This explosive argument between Chantal and Pedro's family was absolutely brutal. After trying to communicate her concerns about Pedro sending too much money home, Chantal came face to face with the wrath of 2 very angry women. Negotiations quickly dissolved into a screaming match between Chantal and Pedro's sister, both sides trying to speak above each other and tensions cranking higher with every insult. Swapping between Spanish and English throughout the fight, this bilingual battle was a sight to behold, and we're guessing Pedro was happy he wasn't there to watch.
You just call me a bitch?
Yes.
You are a whore, and you will not disrespect me like this today. Good night.
Before we reveal our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
I went to jail for a few days, but it's really not a violent crime or anything like that.
Where is he getting sex from? Wasn't from me.
Well, nobody needs to know your sex life either, but you're freely talking about that.
You're not gonna hook up with him just so you can get a free pass to America, are you?
Number 1, Mark acts like Nikki's dad again.
Prenups basically are pieces of paper that are written in happy times.
This couple gave audiences everywhere a serious case of the heebie-jeebies. Though the over 30-year age gap was enough to raise a few eyebrows, what really creeped viewers out was the fact he continued to act more like Nikki's dad than her husband-to-be. While trying to force Nikki to sign a prenup, Mark reminds her that he is providing housing, protection, and shelter for Nikki, and implies she owes it to him to sign the papers.
I'm providing a roof over your head, I'm protecting you, sheltering you, and that comes out of my money. That's my promise to you.
Excuse us, but what? Though she's obviously uncomfortable, Nikki ends up signing the prenup, making this scene equal parts cringy and sad.
I'm too young for all of this.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Ms. Mojo and subscribe for new videos every day.